I think I want all the lights on. Let's see how that works. That works. Okay. Greetings from Govardhan. It's getting less hectic here, so I had a little time to prepare. Maybe we can get back into our groove on the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. And I'm here today. Some of our Sanga members are sitting right before me. We have Sri Rupa, Ishwari Radha, and Hemalata Radha. And it was Tamal Krishnamurti's disappearance. They have his Pushpa Samadhi. Hi, Bo. Okay. Okay, you guys want to come in? Sure. Okay. I think I'll move it out there. There'll be more room. Okay, let's shift out there. Great. Okay. I'll like this leaving. 1 second. There's some more people that have come, so I'm gonna. It's okay. I'm okay. No, let's go. I heard it was a nice function today, huh? Yes. Okay, so it is running on, actually running on the generator now.
Oh, okay.
So I know, but okay. Okay, so great. I have some brahmacharis from New Zealand. They're coming to my classes in our morning, and now they're here in the afternoon too. So let's let me get where we're at. Okay. Reading from Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 3, Text 48. Vraja-bhūmāv ihāgatya, sādhaye sva-vāñchitam, vimṛśann evam aśrauṣaṁ, gīta-vādyādbhuta-dhvanim. I was thinking that if I returned to this Vraja-bhūmi, I would fulfill my desires, and then I heard some wonderful singing and music. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksura-militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya-mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaur Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to repeat again, but this has been an unusual stretch of time for me. And for various reasons, the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, even though I was giving class sometimes, it's been, hasn't been steady. And therefore, I think we, what do you call it? We lost the plot. So I want to bring back the plot again, just briefly to say where we are. Goloka Mahatma. Uttara wanted to know the place where Bhagavad Kripa Sar, the first book, where the topmost recipient of Krishna mercy, the Braja Gopis, Radharani, live. And then there was this interesting theme, how the place reveals the people. Because you construct a place according to your modes, and your modes mean how you enjoy the shapes, sounds, forms of the world. And on the spiritual platform, it's shaped according to the freedom or intimacy of love you want. So it is connected with the whole goal of the book, which is anarpita churim churat brunea vatirna kalo samarpiyatam unatoj vimṛśann. To give. What are you doing? What?
Turn on the slide.
Okay. Okay. Swa-bhakti swayam, to give. God is giving his own devotion to himself, which is the highest level of devotion, which is Vraja-bhakti. So this is what's explained, and explained through two things, through the people who experience it and the place in which it's experienced. And the place dictates the experience. Because according to how the demands of the place for you to reveal yourself in love, you're restricted from fully giving it or giving it fully according to the place. That's why when Srimati Radharani went to Kurukshetra, the demands of the place wouldn't let Krishna be her lover. So somehow this is significant, and we're getting a comparative study of places. And we have this Gop Kumar who gets the mantra. And this is one of the most important parts of the whole thing. He gets faith. He gets an experience. And the mantra gives him his faith also in his guru, who's given him the mantra. So he has very strong faith. And this is one of the most important things of the whole story, that there's nothing more important than faith. And that knowledge supports faith. But faith is the most essential thing. And faith comes from the mercy of God. Brahmanda Brahmate Konya Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Pasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. When you get, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, that experience of it's so good to worship God, it's so good, it's better than anything else, and therefore this is my goal in life. So he has that, and he's not satisfied with anything else. He's not only not satisfied with anything else, he's not ultimately satisfied with worshiping God in any other form. I think we have a visit from Adventure. No, that's it. He'll come in. Who is it?
Sva.
Who?
It's coming to us.
Baba's coming? Okay. I mean, man, Baba Grahi's here. Okay. Okay. So nice to see people transformed in the Dham. So, Gop Kumar's searching, but he's not only searching, but it's ultimately, we're going to find out, it's guided by God. God has a plan. Everything is God's plan to move us closer to him. That's what the material world is. That's what Guru is. Everything is to move us closer to God. And sometimes it's in a very personal way. And we see it. Right? I'm embarrassed. Like I see your journey, right? Right? Your friend tells you to come to the class, right? Then you have your crisis, then you this, and it's God has a plan, makes a decision. This person is ready due to some experience in past life, one is ready, and then God starts making these moves. And so we see that also with him. And also we see a little bit with Gop Kumar that God's planning, one of his plans to bring him back to Godhead is to satisfy all his ambitions, but not only that, but to give him every other experience, to lose faith in that experience, so he'll be fixed exclusively on Braja. So somehow or other, that's there too. God lets us experience what we need sometimes, good and bad. So it's a very interesting journey, and the journey is for us. The journey is to show us, and which is basically, that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. He's the Acharya Leela, he's the pastime showing us how to become a devotee by his own life. And more specifically, how to become a real devotee, how to develop our relationship with Krishna, how to chant the holy name. So we followed Gop Kumar. Now, I forgot it completely. I don't know, it's just because I'm older or this is the way the mind works. And I was only doing it once a week or twice a week. But as you remember, he heard about Swagaloka, and then he went to the heavenly planets. From the heavenly planets, the Maharshis came, the great rishis came, and he kept on seeing there's something higher, there's something higher. And along the way, at every place is a million times better, a million times more sense gratification, a million more times the manifestation of God. And he goes to Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, the four Kumaras. God is appearing in every house out of the fire. They're doing yagyas. And there's a certain attraction to everything, but because it's not the full manifestation of the relationship he has ultimately with God, and is there within his heart, and awakened by the mantra given by his guru. It's not exactly his Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, the form of God he's ultimately connected to. It's not ultimately some Bandha Vishesh Gyan, the relationship he has with God. So he keeps on going on. But then you see in this journey that another quality that carries him through is his simplicity. He has his natural simplicity, where he's not easily entangled, because his joys in life are very natural. They're Vrindavan joys in life. So, some person, well, I'd like to go to the big city, but some person who lived a wholesome life, the big city would be like a hellish place. And they wouldn't want to stay in that place. It doesn't. So anyway, and we remember so many things. You remember that, I think he was on Tapaloka, four Kumar, the Rishi, people blind a Rishi, explaining to him about it's all the mind, everything is in the mind, so what do you have to go search for God? Everything's in the mind, it's not the senses, which will be contradicted later. And then at a particular time, the Shastras, I think, oh yeah, then Lord Brahma comes. Who is this? He doesn't even know who Lord Brahma is. So another theme is he doesn't have a lot of knowledge, and therefore he can get confused. Even it says, what is the role of a guru? It says it's to clear the disciple's doubts so that he won't misunderstand bhakti as karma or gyan. In the very beginning of the Krishna consciousness movement, people thought bhakti was gyan. It's still there, right? Because, you're advanced if you're a sannyasi. Now you're advanced if you have a particular gender. It's different ways. You become confused. What is bhakti? What is bhakti? And or you think it's karma. Getting married is devotion, is a devotional item or something. So it's different ways where you can get confused, and the guru answers the doubts of his disciples. So this transcendental knowledge is necessary so people don't become confused. And Gopkumar, even though he has that faith, he's subject to constant confusion because he has not yet been educated and his faith hasn't yet developed to the highest level. And then, he wounds up on Brahmaloka, and then the Dharma Shastras. This is a very confusing part we went through. The Dharma Shastras are having an argument. And, let me tell you about this little thing here, just that I got around my neck. It was so great. The other day, Baba Grahi, Amadanga, myself, Kishore Radha, Sri Rupa, and Hemalatra, we did the most focused 100% participation Harinam. And it was so good because it mixed Vraja Bhakti with Gaur Leela, that we were getting Lord Chaitanya's mercy. We were doing Sankirtan. We were doing Sankirtan, so we got that flavor. And we went to the Radhakund side, and we, I didn't know when the kirtan is so focused, and we have a little speaker system, and the madanga is good, the kirtan, the singing is nice. It has an effect. The shopkeepers were like really stunned. And there's one guy he's famous. He has a Tulsi shop. That's your job, you remember? Yeah. Okay. He's such a sadhu, and he has huge necklaces of Tulsi, like complete necklaces of Tulsi. So he did kirtan in front of his shop, and he was like appreciating it so much. And he went, and he because he's like the specialist in Tulsi, so he went over and he got this where he usually sells them. I gave him 1,000 rupees anyway, but he gave it out of love, so I got my Tulsi necklace. Just at the time, my Tulsi beads broke. So anyway, they're arguing, and then the Bhakti Shastris win, and it's just the brilliance. Now I'm getting into it again, the brilliance of Sanatana Goswami to connect all this and this huge plot and bring out all these different incredible philosophical points that establish the Bhakti Siddhanta, the conclusions of Bhakti, and then very verse after verse how liberation is nothing and Bhakti is everything. And then somehow or other, and this was the part we didn't get, they felt he needed more experience, but their goal, we're going to get you, you're going to go to the spiritual world, but we'll send you to a path. Maybe it's the sure and steady path. There is a sure and steady path where you get to fulfill your desires and then drop them on the way, because simultaneously your spiritual awareness is awakened. So even though you're enjoying, you have enough awareness to kind of say, this is not what I want. You keep on going. And then somehow or other, he was on Brahmaloka and he got attached because on Brahmaloka, Lord Brahma is worshiping Mahavishnu. And that connection with God, it was so beautiful for him. And he didn't really want to leave it. And sometimes he became so attracted to God in that particular form. It's his Ishtadev, it's his worshipful Lord, but not manifest in the relationship he has with them. But Lord Brahma told him, no, you want to reach it quickly, you go to Braj and you meet your spiritual master. And he goes, and the spiritual master explains the mantra, and he begins to chant it, and he practically gets a spiritual body, and he begins to shoot through the universe, and he winds up in progressing to the abode of liberation. It's basically, it's the last part of the material world. Somehow God is there and he's just effulgent and you can merge into that effulgence. And he actually becomes tested because it's so beauty. It's like drawing him in. It's drawing him in, like having a nice lunch on a summer day and seeing a beautiful hammock outside your house I used to have that when I lived upstate in Sachi Sutas. There was a hammock, and it's alluring, right? Well, let's say you're really fatigued after lunch. I wake up early, but after lunch, maybe not more than 15 minutes. But I have this memory foam bed. I just want to sink into that bed. So it's alluring, but this is the ultimate massage chair. It's enticing, and it has an ecstatic reciprocation because it's connected to God. So it's luring him in, but he knows that he's sacrificing his goal. And also his loyalty. He has loyalty to his guru. So he kind of makes it out, and he makes it out by the power of his mantra. And he's thinking, I got to get back to Braja. And then we're up to what we are up to today. And now we'll go over the verses. He was thinking, if I return to Vraja-bhūmi, I'd fill all my desires. And then I heard wonderful sound. He heard like a wonderful sound and instruments. Rishtoham paritapasyam visharudham vilokayam come up urdva padatatra vantam sarva vilakshanam. Enlivened, looking all around, I saw someone riding on a bull. A unique person arrive from a higher region. So I saw someone, and he was sarva vilakshanam. He was different from everyone else. I saw someone, but it was like extraordinary. And I guess extraordinarily beautiful, unique. So this is what he saw. Kapura Goram Tridusham Digambaram Chandrada Maulim Lalitam Shishulanam Ganga Jalam Lanya Jatavalidaram Basmangarangam Ruchirasti Valinam. Three-eyed, white like camphor, dressed only by the sky. That's like a polite Sanskrit word for meaning you're not wearing any clothes. Three-eyed, white like camphor, dressed only by the sky, that exquisitely beautiful person. Lalitam, Lalitam like Lalita, very beautiful, carrying a trident and bore the half moon on his head, his matted locks brilliantly adorned by the Ganga. His body was smeared by ashes and was graced by a charming garland of bones. And then it explains the purport. Why was it a charming why was it a charming why was it a charming garland? Because it was it was a garland of bones made from the bones of departed Vaishnavas. It still doesn't seem so charming, but it was something. Gorya Nila Gorya Nija Kasita Yunanjitam Divyati Divyai Kalitam Parichadai Atmanurupai Parivarya Sanchaye Samsevyamanam Ruchirakitirtita. Sitting on his lap, a woman of fair complexion affectionately served him. Divine regalia surrounded him, more heavenly than the riches of heaven, and many followers attended him. Their attractive forms of behavior just fitting for his service. So one of the 5 types of liberations is sarupya. You get the same form as God. But it's because the service of God would be to have a beautiful entourage. So all these beautiful people. So this is like he doesn't know who it is, but where am I? He doesn't know who it is, but it's evidently something extraordinary. And we can just get a picture, but the feel, Vaishnavam Yata Shambhu, the greatest devotee, it's practically non-different than Krishna. I took a rickshaw back from Rupa Seva Kunj, and he stopped, and this lady got on, right, in the rickshaw. And she was also coming from Rupa Seva Kunj. And she said, she started talking to me, and she said that they just studied the second offense, and it's confusing because some people present the offense that it's an offense to consider Lord Shiva different from Vishnu, and it's an offense to consider him equal to Vishnu. And we say it's an offense to consider Lord Shiva equal or independent. So it's an offense 2 ways if you don't understand Lord Shiva's unique position. He's not a jiva. He's a transformation of God. And it's only the difference between milk and yogurt. So what's the difference? So if you make that distinction, but if you're cooking and the recipe calls for milk and you use yogurt, you have to know the difference. So it's an offense not to respect him as God, and it's an offense to consider him exactly equal with Krishna. And I remember when I first came to India and I saw, this offense didn't mean anything for us because we didn't even know what the demigods were. As far as I'm concerned, the demigods were like the enemies. I'd scorn every temple, who they worshiping and you know, and but it's interesting, there's only one Brahma temple in all of India. Yeah, and there's a reason why there's only Brahma. You see Lord Shiva, you see Durga, you don't see Brahma. The reason you don't see Brahma because what's that place? Pushkar. Pushkar, push means flowers and kar means from the hand. So Lord Brahma wanted to have a sacrifice, and I think he threw flowers from his hand, and that would be the perfect place. And he was doing the sacrifice, and to do a sacrifice, you have to have your wife. So his wife was late, so I think he got married again. Then his wife came, said just Savitrian got, and his wife came and looked at him and said, got so angry. He said, "Oh, you want to be worshipped so bad that you neglect your wife? Well, I curse you. This is the only place you'll be worshipped." So Pushkar is the place where they have Lord Brahma deity. Maybe someone can make an obscure deity, but no, the Lord Brahma deity. and I remember Pushkar, the places I went to in India once, they're not, you go back like Natwar and all these places, they're big cities now probably. But what I remember from Pushkar is that every place in India would have a special sweet. In Mathura, it's Mathura Pera. That's famous. You always see it in the shops. In Agra, it's Peta. It's this squash sweet with sugar. It's amazing. In Jaipur, it's those ladus, those big ladus. In Bengal, Kajur Sandesh or Misti Dahi. So each place would have a sweet. And in Pushkar, the sweet was Malpura. And Malpura were like pancakes drenched in sugar syrup. So I got a box, and it was like a box, and I wanted to bring it back. And when I got back, the clothes absorbed all the sugar in those sweets. It just, I don't know how it did it, but every piece of cloth I had was like soaked in this sugar. So I remember this Pushkar place. But when, we saw the deities, what it was, Durga, we had like a negative feeling towards them, like Lord Shiva. But actually, Lord Shiva is so attractive. Um, Sitting on his lap, a woman of fair complexion. Okay, so the scene goes on. Goryani Jang, and this is it. So you go, and then there's Mahakal. You have to get by that impersonal liberation, and then there's the next thing is Shiva Loka, and I guess that's the last thing before you go into Vaikuntha. So so it says here, sitting on his lap, a woman of fair complexion affectionately served him. Divine regalia surrounded him more heavenly than the riches of heaven. Many followers attended him, their attractive forms, behavior just fitting for his service. Um, so um, he never knew anything about her, but he saw her name was Gauri, Lord Shiva's wife, but she was Gauri because she had this beautiful golden complexion. And at first sight, Gop Kumar could recognize that the royal umbrella, the chamara, and the accoutrements of Lord Shiva, they were more excellent than that of the demigods. But because everything of here is organized by God, there can be infinite gradations of excellence. Everything can get better and better and better. Um, and then his associates, you can get the same, I said that Sarupya Mukti, you can get the same form as that who you worship. Paramam Vishmayam Prapto, Harsham Chaitara Chintayam, Konvayam Parivaradyo, Bhati Mukti Padopare. Feeling the greatest surprise and delight, I thought, who is this, accompanied by such an entourage and appearing from above the abode of liberation? So now he's the abode of liberation. So this is like, it's coming from above somehow. This is something higher. So he's thinking it's somehow, maybe this is my Lord. Maybe I'll find my Lord here. He has that sense. Jagat Vilakshanashvaryo Muktavargadiko Pisan Lakshate Ti Siddhat Acharyo Mahavishayavaniva. He looks more powerful than anyone in the material world, more excellent than all liberated souls, yet he seems to violate the rules of civilized behavior like a great sense gratification. So he's naked, his wife is sitting on his lap. So he can't figure it out. But his Aishvarya is Jagat, from this world. It's Valakshana. It has a quality that you won't see in this world. And he's of the Mukti Varg, of the all groups of liberated persons, he's Adhika. He has the most qualification. He's the top. And yet, he seems to be violating Sadachar. And he seems to be a Maha Vishyavan, a great person is presented. So he's completely confused. So on one hand, okay. Yes, Sabyasachi really set up my play. I do have more lights connected, but we could, I think, yeah, shut off. I think we don't need them all. Okay, yeah, this will be good. So Gop Kumar, he saw this unique person, and he appeared to be like, this got to be the Supreme Lord, the defender of religious principles, but he doesn't follow proper behavior. He's traveling naked, he's embracing his wife in public, and so on. And he's enjoying all kinds of sense gratification, even though he's a liberated soul. So, it's very confusing. And of course, on that level, the external activities correspond to a different consciousness. But we only have experience of these activities corresponding to a consciousness here. So it's very easy to get confused, and that's why Lord Chaitanya, it's very difficult to understand Lord Chaitanya. So Parananda Bharakranta Chetas Tad Darshanad Aham Namam Saparivaram Tam Kripaya Lokitamuna. My mind was overcome by the weight of supreme ecstasy. I felt seeing him. I bowed down to him and those who stay with him, and he gave me a compassionate glance. So he reciprocated. Kripaya, mercifully, alokika, and parananda, bara. Okay, he's overcome by the weight of this ecstasy, because there's energy between people, and people of that level, you feel their love. I'm reading this book. It's very interesting. It's about a person in Bhakti Siddhanta's line. I'm putting it on, I'm now going to just put on excerpts on my WhatsApp group. It's a person in Bhakti Siddhanta's line that was a Grihasta. His guru told him to chant 64 out. And he did, even though he was working and had a family. And then when he retired, he just started to chant more and more. They say 5 lakhs. I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, he chanted a lakh, and then he's writing letters about the glories of the holy name. And very practical and with conviction. You can do this. This is the most important thing. And he's chanting the holy name. And he said one thing, he said, is to meditate sitting before people who chant the pure name. Because he said there's an energy that comes. So you can imagine the energy that comes by being in the presence of Lord Shiva, who's not a Jivatma, it's Shiva Tattva. So it's a transformation of God for this world. So the energy that he's feeling is it's just crushing him in ecstasy. Harsha Vegat Upavaja Sriman Nandishvarabhayam Aprichan Tadganakyaksham Tadvritantam Visheshata. Impelled by joy, I approached the leader of his companions, named Sri Nandeshvara, and asked him in detail about this person and what he is doing. Purport: although unfamiliar with Lord Shiva, Gop Kumar asked Sri Nandeshvara, "Who is this? Where is his residence? Where is he now going?" So another thing about Gop Kumar that seems to be his favor, he's inquisitive. Doubt is one of the 5 signs of intelligence given by Kapila Dev. It means you want to understand things further. So he's always inquisitive. What is this? Who is he? Where is he from? But he's using his inquisitiveness not to negate the world, but to find the essence of the world. Okay, one more for today. Sasahasam avochan mam gopala pasana para gopabala jananeshe sishivam jagadishvaram. Nadeshra laughed and said, "O cowherd boy, devoted worship of Gokul, don't you recognize Lord Shiva, the Lord of the universe?" So Nandishvara, he found it amusing that a devotee of Krishna would be ignorant of the Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee. But he was such a simple cowherd boy that Nandishvara thought he just may be poorly informed. By calling Lord Shiva the Lord of the universe, Nandishvara has tactfully told Gopkumar that since Lord Shiva is independent, he can do what he wants. It's born of another consciousness. Okay, we have time for one more. Bhuktir mukteshta daitatyam Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta muktanam api sampunyo Vaishnavanam Chavalabha. He is the giver of material enjoyment and liberation, and he expands devotion to the personality of Godhead. He is worshipped even by the liberated souls and is dear to the Vaishnavas. So Lord Shiva here is described as Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhana in different ways. Bhagavat, God, Vardhana, increasing, Muktanam. He expands Bhagavad Bhakti. It's Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhana. He's expanding devotion to Krishna. So, and he promotes the process of devotion. And he's teaching his own devotees that Bhagavad Bhakti is the supreme goal. And his very words, he increases the inhabitants, their devotion for Krishna. So he's very dear to Krishna, who aspires for his association. He's dear because he's giving Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhana. He's constantly increasing bhakti. Okay, for today, that's about what I can do. Let's see. Jamuna Jaya, if you have any.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you for class. It was so nice to do the recap and go forward. I have a lot of notes, but one of the things I started to do, I started to write down all the qualities that you were talking about with Gopal Kumar on his trip. So he has faith, simplicity, loyalty to Guru, tolerance, determination, and inquisitiveness. And it was such a nice list of all the different things.
Thanks for taking that. Thanks for taking that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Raj.
Say hello.
Haribol, everybody. Haribol. Oh, so nice to see the room. Haribol.
Haribol. Okay, Jamuna Jaya.
Thank you, Raj.
I heard, yeah, the groups are going well, Vasudev told me. You have groups in the Bhakti Center now, right?
Yeah. The community groups are going well, really well. And Vasudev and Gorsharan, who loves you so much, is doing a lot of teaching. Gorsharan has so much love and respect for you, Raj. You have no idea.
Oh, okay. Haribol. I love him too.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's great.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Oh boy, that sounds like no questions.
Oh, Gail, I forgot. No, I don't know what overcame me. Okay, Gail, shoot away.
Yeah, just a couple of things. You know, as you were saying, Gopal Kumar's journey is supposed to be instructive for us. So when he's going through the, the atmospheres of the various elements, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, going past them one by one. And by the way, those atmospheres are manifestations of Krishna because those are his energies. In that way, they're his manifestations, no?
Even the different planetary systems?
No. The elements, each one that affords him such
Bhumir Apo
intense,
Nalo Vayu
intense.
Kamano Budeva Shahankara Hankara. Wait. Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu. Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu. This is like you chanted a verse for 50 years, and this must be Alzheimer's or something. Bhumir Apo Nalo Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu. What? Kamano Buddha Evacha Ahankara Vamudhatma Kartaham Itimabhyutam. Okay, yeah, what's your question?
Yeah, he was experiencing such overwhelming sense gratification from all of these atmospheres, right?
It seems that he had at least the opportunity for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so in what way is this supposed to be instructive for us?
Well, I think the only thing I can think of when Jayananda passed from the world, Prabhupada wasn't sure his destination. He said, if you have any desire, you'll enjoy for 10,000 years at the planets of the demigods, and then you'll come down and you'll be born in a family of Brahmins or devotees. So I guess it's instructive in that way that Krishna somehow may give you unless you can transcend them. And I think that's what ultimately happened. I forgot the story, but you can ultimately transcend them too. But how can you transcend them? Vishya vinivartante niraha. You have to really have that taste of Krishna consciousness. So I think it's a combination.
Because it seemed like otherwise it would be like potentially very dangerous, if you get
Well,
to
it wasn't that he kind of chose, I want to go here. Somehow that was the path outlined for him.
Mm.
And he was successful. And there's something that's said in the end of the last chapter. Let me see if I can find it now, where it said something. He said Gopkumar used because Gopkumar reached the most beautiful place quickly, traveling at the speed of light. He felt joyful that eventually he would play with his Lord in Vrindavan, but was also unhappy that at some time he'd have to keep tolerating the pain of separation for him. Let me see if that Gopkumar was not worried, did not worry that these wanderings will continue for long. Soon enough, he will reach his final destination. Gopkumar simply wants to enjoy. It said, okay, but as Lord Mahapurush is about to explain, Gopkumar wants simply to enjoy with his Lord in Sri Vrindavan. But as Lord Mahapurush is about to explain, that will happen in due course. Meanwhile, after a brief visit to Vraja, Gopkumar will continue his journey through the 8 coverings of the universe to the abode of liberation and to Sri Vaikuntha and beyond, fulfilling his various desires.
So he had those desires even though he
Well,
wanted to be with Krishna
it
so bad.
seems part of it, part of giving up desire is renouncing them, and part of them is fulfilling them. That's also supposed to be what the grihastha ashram is. You fulfill your desires so that you renounce them. So I guess that's maybe something that's analogous. And people have certain propensities that come from the modes of nature. They fulfill those. So I think there's something like that. And then we see if people don't fulfill those desires, then they can't renounce them. and then they have to come back. And we have examples of sannyasis at old age, that have to go through something they haven't gone through before. And I do feel sometimes that some of these grihastas, are really detached because they went through it, as opposed to sannyasis that didn't go through it. And therefore, sannyas is not particularly recommended in this age. So we see that there is some correlation between Krishna giving you a chance to fulfill your desire. But he's taking the rocket ship path, So it's so interesting, though, too. But his faith, his experience, I think it also shows you his experience, his faith, because material enjoyment is external to the soul, so it never can be the same thing. Like I gave that French philosopher said, happiness is the pleasure. The pleasure is the happiness of a madman, and happiness is the pleasure of the soul. So there's another type of happiness, and maybe it just shows that type of happiness, the consciousness, the flowing of the consciousness, is actually superior, no matter how many million times you increase the other thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, Gail. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, any last people say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Well, Govinda.
And Braja, thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
Missing you and Govardhan.
Oh, we're missing it.
Yeah.
We're missing you, Maharaj.
It
True
still
there.
goes on. This morning program we started is great. It's really
Amazing.
great. Yeah,
That's great.
but it's good to stretch it out there. And the person from Mahabab came back.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So we'll go tomorrow afternoon and we'll see all those deities and we'll do kirtan and we'll meet him because he's a very high devotee.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class.
Ishwari, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Maharaj.
Okay. I did mention something I put on my WhatsApp page. Kastuba's really brilliant presentation, sober, Vaishnav. I think he's like an authority. You become an authority when you speak like that. And very systematic, sober presentation. And Vaishnav. And Raghunath was great too, because, so easily people can become critical and angry, and he's glorifying all these Vaishnavas. It shows that he's kind of, really in that good Vaishnav mood, because even though the decision he feels and other people feel is very harsh towards the ladies of this movement, he was telling people, to respect people. So it was a very nice combination. Okay. Anybody else say hello? Okay, I'll go down the list.
Hare Krishna Mars, thanks for the class. Surya Radhika here.
So Radhika, Haribo. Nice
Hare
to see
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Mars.
Yudhisthira, nice to see you.
Jai, jai, jai.
Okay, Haribo.
Haribo. Wish I was there physically.
Wait, you want to see you see Sri Rupa? Your
Sure.
friend?
I don't believe she's there until I see her.
Haribo.
Rupa, tell them what happened here today.
What at the
Yeah.
So Prabhu, there was a wonderful program for Gurudev.
Mhm.
It was at the palace, and there were all devotees from who was it? What was the Yeah. Sri Krishna Maharaj and all of his disciples. There were
Kalam Samvara from New Zealand.
Yeah, it was really special. It was a really sweet program. I'm going to get you the video and I'll share it with you.
Thank you so much.
And it was a really incredible feast too.
Really class.
Yeah. Okay, Haribo.
Great.
All right.
Haribo.
I'm looking through the list of all the people and thanking everyone who has come today? Okay? And we'll see you again. We're back in the fire of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. I had to spend the day reading over the verses. Okay. Okay, let me see yeah. Okay, Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha.
Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.